Welcome to Geek Down. How are y'all doing today? Today we're doing something called the Geek Down Countdown. And this today is a Memorial Day, because our first Geek Down Countdown is about video games. The best video games of all time! And this is for you, the fans. Now, how did I come up with this list? Because I did some research. I seen what games are still reviewed to this day, what games were most bought, and what games still give the most buzz. So, this basically countdown was made from you, the fans! So, here we go. Starting with our list at number 10, it is the Blue Hedgehog himself, Sonic! Sonic was the very first game to be released for the Sega Genesis, and to this day is still one of the most mass-produced games, with sequels, spin-offs, and versus games like Sonic and Mario at the Olympics. So, that's why this game is at number 10 on the countdown. Now, number 9. This game was probably the first bloodiest, different, outlawish game ever to be released. It was different from anybody else. Rockstar produced this game. It was called Grand Theft Auto 3. It was banned. It was actually on media news for being so bad. It caused more buzz than Mortal Kombat, which was big for its time. Grand Theft Auto, still produced to this day, has plenty of spin-offs, and every time it's released, it's more brutal and violent every time. This game changed the concept of gaming forever, and that's why it's at number 9. Number 8 is an MMO. It is probably the largest MMO of its time and of its kind. It is WoW. World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft has multiple expansions, and it has been out for years, still producing many people to play, and still making millions of dollars a year. That's why this MMO is considered the best MMO of all time. And is why it's on the countdown at number 8. So, we're going to go into number 7. And this game was on Super Nintendo. It was the first game of its kind. It was Mario Kart. Mario Kart was a racing battle game that took characters from its game and put them against each other to battle. You can hit each other with red turtle shells, which knocked you out. Green turtle shells that bounced. They had mushrooms that made you speed up. Stars that made you freaking go faster and hit somebody that knocked them out. And then they also had the lightning bolts that shrunk people, and you can run them over and they smack them like pancakes. But, I mean, it was a very addicting game. And then you had battle modes where you had balloons and you had to knock the balloons off. Very addicting game. To this day, it's still one of my favorite games. And that's Mario Kart at number 7! Number 6! Final Fantasy 7! This game changed RPGs forever. And what I mean by that, it was the longest one of its kind at the time. It was 3 discs and very long. Very addicting. And if you actually beat it, it was very rewarding too. This game changed the concept of RPGs with live animation, battle scenes that were more interactive, and a cutscenes with more story plot. Final Fantasy VII is still played to this day. It's had a spin-off movie, and is going to be redone in high definition next year on next-gen consoles. So this game will never die. That's why it has made the countdown at number 6. Yes. Number 5. Halo! That game was amazing. It was on Xbox. The original Xbox. So, why was Halo number 5 on this countdown? Because it changed the shooter. It changed online gaming forever. This was the first game that you can actually play online with your friends and kill each other. You can team up with your friends and kill other people across the country. It was awesome. And it was also probably one of the most addicting storyline games. And it would just produce sequels and spin-offs too. And even movies and TV shows. Halo is, to this day, still one of the most popular franchise games out there. So, that's why it made the countdown at number 5. So, what can top that? Well, this won't be a countdown without some Mario, right? Which Mario game would make this countdown? That's what I had to think about really hard. And I had to look and research. And I came with the conclusion that Mario 64 should be number 4. Because it changed graphics. It changed the story of Mario. It changed the way we play games. I mean, if you think about it, it took 3D gaming to a new level. And to this day, still one of the most sought out games of Mario out there. And Mario is still produced to this day, still runs strong, and has had more money made for Nintendo as a long-term game. Now, that doesn't mean it still has made more of all time, but as a long-term game, it has made more money. And that's the reason why I say this. I'm going to prove that there's a game that's made more money, and I'll have it in a few minutes on this countdown. But before that, we're going to go to number 3. Number 3 was another shooter that changed the way we played. And it was GoldenEye. GoldenEye 64 changed the way that we played. It was the first game that we could play with your friends and hunt them down and kill them. It also was the very first shooter that used 3D graphics, the scopes, different guns, and multiple characters. That's why GoldenEye, to this day, is still loved by fans. And is still considered one of the greatest games of all time. And it makes the countdown at number 3. Number 2 is a game that if you've never played it, you need to go out and buy it and play it today. It is one of the top thinking games of all time. And it is Portal. Today, Portal still makes money every time. And it has had one sequel, Portal 2, and with another one possibly coming down the road. Now, Portal is... it changed the mind thinking games. Portal was part of the Half-Life series originally, but has branched off into its own thing. If you haven't played it, you need to go get it, try it, and literally say, wow, great game. Portal still is one of the top selling games and sold out games on PC and Xbox 360. Check it out if you haven't. I guarantee you won't be let down. Next game, and the final one. This right here was Nintendo's highest selling game of all time. And is probably the most popular video game series out there. The guy kind of dressed like Robin Hood, but it has branched off into its own thing. I'm talking about Link. And the game I'm talking about is Zelda, Ocarina of Time, which is a 64 game which 64 has had more games that are popular than any other system, if you think about it. Because 64 changed gaming forever. Zelda, Ocarina of Time, was the first of its kind, and it was probably, to this day, it's still one of the highest sought games, which actually made more money than any other game, and to this day, it still holds value. I mean, it still holds its value. So, if you don't agree with this countdown, I'm sorry, but this was from online reviews, online checking. So, this is the top 10 countdown of Geek Down Countdown. And ladies and gentlemen, hope you enjoyed the top 10 video games of all time. Next week, top 10 wrestlers of all time. See you then.